So for the past few years, we've mostly interacted with AI through, well, a text box, right?
Mm.
Typing things in, getting text back. But I think it's time to stop typing because the really big shift happening, like right now, is AI moving its brain out into the real world, having actual natural phone conversations in real time.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about. There's this huge automation opportunity opening up. We're talking about how you can build functional, autonomous AI assistants, like starting today, really capitalize on this market that, well, we think is going to explode by 2026.
Yeah, that's the mission here. We want to take you from maybe knowing nothing about this to really understanding the infrastructure of a voice agent, a functional one built with no-code tools. We'll kind of unpack its technical anatomy, look at the tools you need specifically, Vapi and NAN, and then walk through the actual steps to build your first one.
It's a massive skill gap out there, honestly.
Mm.
Huge demand, very lucrative. So yeah, let's start with the basics, the fundamental architecture.
Okay, so the first thing is, how do you actually give a large language model, that smart text brain we've all used, how do you give it a mouth and ears?
Well, the basic definition is pretty simple. A voice agent is essentially a virtual assistant, one that can hold, like, complex, natural-sounding conversations over the phone, or even the web. Think of it like a chatbot on the inside, but the interaction layer, that's all speech.
So this isn't the same as when you call a company and get that clunky press 1 for sales, press 2 for service kind of thing. The thing everyone hates.
Oh, absolutely not. That's the key difference. These agents, they can make and receive calls 24/7. They can maintain a genuinely human-like conversational flow. And this is critical. They integrate with your business systems, your CRM, your calendar, whatever.
Okay, and the way it works. It relies on 3 core pieces working together, right? You called it the LLM with ears and a mouth.
That's pretty much it. The ear is step one, speech to text, or STT. That takes what the person says, their spoken words, and turns it into written text the AI can, understand.
And that text then feeds into the brain, the LLM. That's where the AI figures out the right response, something conversational and nuanced.
Yep. And then finally, the mouth, that's text-to-speech, TTS. It converts the AI's text answer back into really natural-sounding spoken words for the person to hear.
What's kind of interesting here is that the skills you might already have from working with text-based LLMs like prompting, figuring out the logic, those still totally apply. It's like you already get the brain part.
Exactly. Now we just need to layer on the logistics and, crucially, deal with this new factor, latency.
Ah, right, speed.
Yeah, if you're building a chatbot, a delay of a second or two might be okay. But with voice, even half a second delay feels weird, like the agent's buffering or it's confused. Latency just destroys user trust in a real-time conversation. That's honestly why voice agents are fundamentally harder to get right than chatbots.
That makes total sense. Voice really demands that immediate back and forth feeling.
Yes, speed is completely non-negotiable if you want people to actually, accept it and use it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig a bit deeper then into the structure, the anatomy of these agents. You're saying there are 4 essential parts we need to understand.
Right. 4 key pieces. Part 1 is the LLM, the brain. That's the intelligence engine. And choosing the right model, maybe GPT-4, maybe Claude, maybe something else optimized for speed, that choice is critical. You're always doing this balancing act between how smart it is, how sophisticated, versus that latency, the speed, and of course, how much the call costs to run.
And part 2, you said this is maybe the most important part, the system prompt, the playbook.
Definitely the most important, yeah. This is basically the agent's instruction manual. It defines everything. Its role, like you are a warm, patient customer support rep. Its personality, its style, and maybe most importantly, its rules and boundaries. This is where you explicitly state things like, under no circumstances give financial advice.
I have to admit something here. Even with all the time I've spent working with LLMs, getting that prompt perfect on the first try, it's basically impossible. I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. Real conversation is just messy. You have to constantly test, tweak, iterate. That's honestly the hardest part of making these things work well in the real world.
No, I appreciate you saying that. It's absolutely the truth when you actually deploy these things. Okay, so part 3 is the voice, the persona. This really impacts how users perceive the agent, whether they trust it. You can choose gender, age, accent from providers like 11 Labs. It brings the persona to life.
And the last piece, number 4, is the tools, the superpowers. This
Yeah.
is the action layer, right? What lets it do more than just talk?
Exactly. This is where it gets really powerful. We're talking about the agent being able to, say, view internal databases,
Yep.
create appointments directly in a calendar, process payments, or trigger literally any kind of automation through some connected service.
So let's take that dentist office agent example. The brain might be a fast LLM like GPT-4. The playbook is super clear. You only schedule appointments, nothing else. The persona is maybe friendly, reassuring, and the
The
superpowers.
superpowers would be check the dentist's calendar availability, book the appointment slot, and then maybe send a confirmation email or text, all done autonomously, instantly during the call.
And that system prompt, the playbook, is kind of like the agent's constitution. It sets all the rules.
Exactly. It dictates everything it should and shouldn't do.
Now, to build something professional like that, especially using no-code tools, we need specific platforms. The sources you looked at point towards a combination, Vapi and N8N.
Yeah, Vapi is the specialized platform for the voice piece. It's designed for this. It handles all the complex voice logistics, the phone calls, the real-time STTTTS, managing that whole conversational interface. Think of it as the front end for the conversation.
Okay, Vapi for voice. And then N8N.
N8N is this really robust visual automation platform. It's for building out all the back-end logic, the workflows. And the key thing is it connects to pretty much any service or API you can think of. It's the integration engine.
So why put them together? What's the magic in combining Vapi and N8N?
Well, it's like peanut butter and jelly, really. Vapi handles the conversation, the talking and listening, the mouth and ears, but N8N gives it unlimited tools, the ability to actually do things.
Ah, okay. So Vapi is like the interface, managing the user experience of the call. And N8N is everything happening behind the scenes, the business logic connecting to other systems.
That's a really good way to put it. Vapi chats. N8N acts. So the agent goes from just answering a question like, what's your return policy, to actually taking action, maybe checking inventory in one system, logging the call details in Salesforce, and sending a follow-up text message, all within that single phone call.
Got it. Vapi for the natural dialogue, N8N to let the agent interact with the messy, real-world stuff.
Precisely. That's the power combo. Mid-roll sponsor read provided separately. Okay, so we've covered the how. Now let's look at the two main ways these agents typically operate. You've basically got inbound and outbound.
Right. Inbound agents, that's like your virtual receptionist, available 24/7. This is where someone calls the agent's dedicated number and the agent picks up. Common uses are, round-the-clock customer support, answering complex FAQs, maybe checking on an order status. The key is the customer initiates the call.
Then you flip it, and you have outbound agents. Think of these as your autonomous assistant. In this case, the agent proactively calls people for you. This area has huge ROI potential. Things like sales follow-ups, payment reminders or collections, and a really big one, appointment reminders.
Yeah.
Those drastically cut down on costly no-shows. Here, the agent initiates.
And there's that hybrid model too, right? The website widget agent.
Yeah, that's a neat one. It's like a little chat bubble on your website, but instead of typing, the user clicks a button, and it starts an instant voice call right through their browser. Super convenient, bypasses needing a phone number entirely.
So if a small business is looking for the quickest win, the clearest ROI, which type usually delivers that?
Generally, inbound support for off hours or overflow, and outbound appointment reminders. Those tend to show immediate, measurable financial value pretty quickly.
We've laid out that the tech is here, it's functional, but maybe let's zoom out for a second. Why should someone listening right now really focus on learning about voice agents now?
Because this whole space, voice AI agents, it feels like it's right at the tipping point for massive mainstream adoption by businesses. Probably around 2026 is when we'll see it everywhere. It's not some far-off future thing. The technical hurdles, especially latency, they've largely been overcome recently. We're at an inflection point.
And the value proposition for businesses seems incredibly straightforward. It's easy for them to grasp. You save potentially a lot of money, like that $50 receptionist salary example, while also getting 24/7 service. It's just pure efficiency.
Absolutely. And that clear value creates this perfect storm situation for anyone learning this now. You have extremely high demand from businesses desperate to automate things like call centers. But you have very low competition because, frankly, not many people know how to build these things properly yet, using the right tools like Vapi and A8N.
It really gets interesting when you think about the kinds of problems this solves. These aren't trivial things. They're real, expensive, often painful business bottlenecks, scheduling nightmares, rising customer service costs.
Whoa. Yeah, just imagine scaling that one agent. You build it once, refine it, and suddenly it can handle, I don't know, 1 billion routine customer interactions a year. Perfectly, every time, no sick days, no vacations. Being able to build solutions for those kinds of expensive problems, that positions you as an expert really early on in a field that's about to take off.
Okay, so if the opportunity is really that big, what's the main hurdle? What's stopping more people from jumping in and building these right now?
Honestly. It mostly comes down to the lack of specialized knowledge. People aren't familiar with the specific tools and techniques needed to connect that conversational part, the voice, to the action part, the back-end systems. So let's try and fix that right now. Let's get practical. How about we walk through building a very basic customer support agent, one that just uses a knowledge base all inside Vapi?
Okay, sounds good. So step 1 and 2 are just setup, right? Get a Vapi account, grab the free credits they offer for testing, then just poke around the default agent settings, see where you set the LLM model, the first message the caller hears.
Exactly. And pay close attention to the system prompt structure in that default agent. You'll see those key parts we talked about: the role, the identity, the voice characteristics, and that step-by-step conversational flow. That flow often uses a kind of if this, then that logic to try and guide the conversation, keep it on track even when the user says unexpected things.
Then step 3, this is where it gets useful. Adding a knowledge base, like the agent's cheat sheet.
Yep. Inside Vapi, there's usually a files section. You just upload your company documents, FAQs as PDFs, text files with product info, warranty details, whatever. Then you connect those files to your agent.
And just like that, the agent can now reference that specific information during a call. Like if someone asks about the shipping policy.
Instantly.
Yeah.
It basically gives the agent an internal search engine for your company info. So instead of putting the caller on hold while a human looks it up, the AI can find and relay the info right away.
Okay, step 4 is obviously testing, talking to it.
Absolutely crucial. Use the Talk to Assistant button Vapi provides, have a real conversation, and importantly, watch the live transcription logs as you talk. You can literally see the agent thinking, see when it decides to query that knowledge-based tool to find an answer.
And step 5, which you mentioned, is where the real work happens, iterating on the prompt.
Yes, 90% of the value comes from this loop. The first version will rarely be perfect. Maybe it sounds too robotic. You go back to the prompt, add instructions like be friendly and conversational, maybe it talks too much, add keep your answers concise and direct.
So it's this constant cycle. Test it, see what's wrong, document the issues, refine the system prompt, and test it again. That's where the human really shapes the AI's performance.
Exactly. Now, the agent we just described, it can talk, it can reference files from the knowledge base, but it still has one big limitation at this stage.
Right. It can't actually do anything yet, can it? It can't take real action in the world.
Precisely. It's still just talking and looking things up.
Okay, so that kind of brings us back to the start, but with a tangible result. We've outlined how to build a functional AI receptionist, one that can answer calls and use company info, all without writing code. We went beyond just the LLM as a text box. We looked at its anatomy, the brain, the playbook, the persona, and the potential for superpowers using tools.
Yeah, we proved it can handle answering calls based on documents. But the real game changer, the automation powerhouse, that gets unlocked when we give it those superpowers,
Yeah.
likely using something like N8N.
Just think about that difference for a moment. An agent that can only talk versus one that can, all in the same call, simultaneously check a real-time calendar, book the appointment right into the system, log the interaction in a CRM or spreadsheet, and send out the confirmation email, all while the person is still on the line.
That's the moment the agent transforms from just an answering machine into a truly autonomous employee. And that is the enormous opportunity sitting there for anyone who decides to learn these tools right now.
So we really encourage you to take what we've discussed today, start exploring, and see the potential of voice automation for yourself.
Absolutely. Until the next deep dive, keep learning, keep building.